Your right hand over your heart. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, section 3.4 I already did. Section 3.5 is adoption of the agenda. Do we have a motion for adoption?
Motion to adopt the agenda. We will be removing an item
Yes,
9.3.
we would like to amend the agenda slightly, and that is item 9.3. We just had a title change in that document. We want to make sure it's exactly correct. We'll bring it to you next time.
Okay, so with the exception of item 9.3, can I have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I motion second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. So we will move forward with that. The next thing is item 3.6, which is a board recognition. Superintendent, do you want to read that out?
Yes. We have some special recognition tonight. I don't know if the Congresswoman's office has made it to us yet. They are here. If I can invite up representatives from Congresswoman Judy Chu's office to make a special presentation to the Glendora High School Band and Pageantry this evening. Please give them a warm Glendora welcome.
Hi, my name is Miley, the Senior Field Representative for Congresswoman Judy Chu, and we just want to say congratulations to Glendora High School and Glendora Unified School District for being chosen to be in the 2025 National 4th of July Parade for California. So thank you so much. You guys are amazing.
We do have our Director of Bands, Mr. Terry Leave. Terry, please come up. And our Pageantry Director, Mrs. Nina Bersley.
Yeah, so on behalf of Congresswoman Judy Chu and the 28th Congressional District, we just want to say thank you so much. We are looking forward to seeing you out there. And we have certificates of congressional recognition. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Very excited.
Oh, all right. Where am I looking?
Are there any of your band members here that want to take a picture with the group?
I see a couple that are sleeping in their chairs. We'll let them sit.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Congresswoman Chu took the invitation or the nomination forward. It was accepted. And Glendora High School's Band and Pageantry, again, was accepted as California's representative, I think one of two from the state of California. Most states receive one invitation through a nomination. So thanks again to Congresswoman Chu and her office for being here tonight. Glendora High School, congratulations again to you, all of you. Thank you.
I think while everyone is still paying attention to that recognition, maybe send out a little reminder that their fundraiser is in full effect, right? So maybe if you want to tell us where exactly people would go to donate, if you want to come up to the mic and maybe just tell us where they can go to donate to get you there.
So we'll have several fundraisers coming up during the academic year next year, but right now what they can do is they can go to the Band and Pageantry website. If you just Google search Glendora High School Band and Pageantry, it'll be the first thing that comes up. There will be all sorts of avenues and links that you can follow there to donate directly through our page to the program, and all of those funds will help send all of these students to Washington, D.C. to represent the district and represent the state.
Thank you for that, and thank the Congresswoman also. The next item is item 3.7, public comment, where speakers may address the Board of Education.
We have a couple more recognitions before that.
We do?
We have, yes.
I That's
Wow.
okay. They're all snuck in there. Yeah, there are a few. There are a few. I'm going to invite Mrs. Norrell, Glendora High School's principal, to present the next set of recommendations, starting with our national merit finalists, followed by a special recognition for a JHS wrestler, and then the Palomar Scholar Athletes of the Year. Mrs. Norrell.
Thank you, Dr. DeGrazia, GUSD Board of Trustees. Being named a national merit finalist is an impressive achievement in any place that you do it. Nationally, 16,000 students from across the country are named semifinalists, representing the top 1% of all test takers. However, to earn this honor in California, you have to meet the third highest qualifying score out of any state in our country. Then, out of all those semifinalists, about half become national merit finalists. JHS is happy to celebrate our two semifinalists who've moved on to the finalist status, Edward Wang and Daniel Wang. Will you please join me? Edward has received acceptances from UC San Diego and Purdue and is waiting for a few more decisions to come in before making his final decision on his next steps. He plans to major in computer science. Edward recalls his favorite high school memory as making his cardboard boat with his friends and almost winning the combat round. That was one of my favorite memories this year too, Edward. Our second finalist is Daniel Wang. Daniel has been accepted to UCLA, UCSD, UT Austin, and is on the wait list for MIT. He is leaning towards, wait for it, Daniel? There you go. Well, a few more decisions come in. He states his favorite high school memory was presenting his AP seminar presentation on Minecraft, where Peter beat Minecraft in front of 30 people. We are so extremely proud of both of these young men and can't wait to see all the amazing things that they accomplish in their future.
We have these very special, very expensive partners. Certificates for Edward. For Daniel. Show those off and we'll take a quick picture.
Wait, my turn. We're working on it. Thank you, Paul. Thank you. Our next recognition is Samantha Sachs. Samantha, come on up. This feels a little bit like Groundhog's Day because once again, we're here celebrating the unbelievable successes of Samantha. The tremendous student athlete is a 3-time league champion, 3-time CIF champion, a master's champion, and is a state finalist, placing in second. She does this all while maintaining a 4.2 weighted GPA. Even more impressively than her accomplishments athletically is her humility and caring team-first personality. I was lucky enough to get to watch Sam wrestle at the CIF championship. A friend of Sam's who wrestled for another school was predicted to be also a CIF champion, but ended up losing her match on a very controversial call. Sam, at the end of the match, was gracious. She came up to thank all of those of us in her fan club and then raced right over to support her friend. Celebrating her own accomplishments came second to being a tremendous human being. We anticipate hearing a lot about Samantha's success this summer as she competes nationally and begins the process of finding the right collegiate fit. Congratulations, Samantha.
Samantha, I understand you were going to wear your Letter Women's jacket tonight, but it was too heavy. Too many awards on it. Very nice to read about you in the newspaper all the time.
Don't go yet. I didn't want to get your off picture.
Very nice.
our Palomar Scholar Athletes. Every year, GHS selects 5 students to represent our school at the Palomares Scholar Athlete Banquet. These individuals are members of the senior class who've excelled in the classroom and on the athletic field, many of who will be pursuing athletics at the next level. This year, our selected seniors have a combined average GPA of 4.34 and have competed in 43 seasons of play. They are multi-sport athletes who are all currently competing on our track and field team. Will Riley Anderson, Nolan Emus, Addison Martin, Isaac Shires, and Rebecca Zoring, please come join me. Riley Anderson was a member of our girls basketball team and currently is participating in track and field. She also spent 2 years playing volleyball. Riley is the all-time leading scorer in Glendora High School basketball history, scoring an impressive 1,573 points. Making the difficult decision to not pursue athletics at the next level despite having many opportunities to do so, Riley will be attending Grand Canyon University in the fall, majoring in liberal studies with a minor in biblical studies. Nolan Emus has been a member of our cross-country and track programs for the last 4 years. He is also a member of our GHS orchestra. Nolan is planning to attend UCSD, majoring in civil engineering, while also hoping to continue running at the next level. Nolan Emus. Addison Martin is a 3-sport athlete, participating in volleyball, basketball, and track and field. In addition to being a Palomares champion teams, Addison has been named Academic All-League in all 3 of her sports, as well as being named first team in volleyball and second team in basketball. Addison plans to attend Point Loma Nazarene in the fall and major in psychology. Isaac Shires has participated in football and track and field for 4 years and a year of soccer. A tremendous athlete, Isaac's speed on the track is currently creating attention from colleges where he hopes to continue running at the collegiate level. He is also in his 4th year of orchestra, currently a member of our chamber group. Isaac Shires. Rebecca Zoring. She is a member of a 2-time track league championship team, a 2-time basketball league championship team, and 3 times individual track and field MVP, and was 2nd in CIF in the discus. Rebecca is also a member of our AP Capstone program. Rebecca is gaining attention from colleges and hopes to continue her education as a biology pre-med major while competing in track and field at the next level. Ladies and gentlemen, our Palomar Scholar Athletes. One more.
One more round for our pride of the
Shoot, that was the most important part of the night, and I just skipped right over it. There you go. Now that those presentations are done, we'll move to public comment where someone can address the Board of Education. I have no cards. Is that still there? So I will open and happily close public comment. Oh, we have one. Okay, you gonna come up and fill out the card real quick? We'll fill out the, pardon? After? Okay. Come on up. Boy, you barely made it.
I know. All right, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening.
I wasn't here at the last board meeting, but I understand that there was an inquiry from Trustee Clifford or President Clifford about the decrease in enrollment and the reasons why that is. As a former parent of a parent of a former student in GUSD, I've explained before why I pulled my kid out at public meetings, but I just wanted to reiterate that that I'm not alone when I speak to how parents were mistreated during COVID, and the board, the previous board, sat on their hands and didn't push back against the state when they said that their hands were tied. And the nonsense surrounding the previous superintendent and the fact that we're still paying for that because the previous board dug their heels in to support her. And most recently with the neglect of parents' rights, when 3 of the board members, Reuter, Garcia, and Merkley, chose to side against parents, just confirmed that I made the right decision to pull my kid out of the school, and she won't be coming back. And I just want to add that when I re-enrolled this year, I got an email from our school saying that there was a waiting list of 25 kids per grade trying to get into her school. So I'm not surprised that there's a decrease in enrollment after the past few years, what has happened. And there is another school in town, private school, that is looking to build more classrooms. So if you want to understand the decrease in enrollment, start looking with how mistreated parents were. And I look forward to the next school board candidate to the next election, and to have fresh people in the seats, because there's no way that I could come back with the current leadership voting against parents. Thank you.
Thank you. Do I have any more cards? I do not? Okay. I think she's going to do that. Thank you. We appreciate the speaker. And we will close public comment, which means that we will move on to our student board member request. And Aiden, tonight that's you. Are you ready?
I am ready. Thank you very much. I'm going to start off with Colon Elementary. The start of the 3rd trimester has been busy. PTA organized an assembly with Athens, which coincided with the kickoff of the new composting program that Colon is piloting. The students were able to learn about the process of competing and how it will help our environment. Our PTA also hosted a daddy-daughter dance, and it was a huge success. Students were also recognized for their academic achievement at an awards assembly, and a number of students were recognized for exhibiting the character trait of honesty. Lastly, the PTA again planned and executed an amazing science fair in which students or classrooms were able to explore their ideas or questions by using the scientific method. The Colon Condors continue to demonstrate grit in all they do, and we couldn't be more proud. Stanton Elementary. Stanton Elementary has had a busy and successful start to our 3rd trimester. We began cycle 2 of Eagle Time, and many students were able to move up in reading groups. We look forward to open house this coming Thursday. We'll begin with a PTA association meeting, then parents will tour classrooms. This week, our 4th grade students will participate in Walk Through California on-campus field trip. 3rd through 5th grade students are preparing for CASP with intermittent assessments and look forward to testing after spring break. LPAC is in full swing. We hosted a successful family night focusing on the LPAC assessment. EL students in grades 3 through 5 will take the LPAC this week, and EL students in grades 1 to 2 will take the LPAC after spring break. Some of our exciting upcoming events include our VAPA family night and a PTA BMX bike show in April. Sutherland Elementary. We recently hosted our first Family Math Festival. About 200 students and family members attended our evening event. Students and families visited various stations to engage in math games and activities. Testing season is underway. We are partway through administering the LPAC for our English learners. State testing for our 3rd through 5th grade students is also right around the corner. Teachers have been preparing for this to give students the best opportunity to showcase what they know and have learned. This trimester, we have a plethora of exciting events planned for our students and families. We are looking forward to several PTA events such as date nights with daughters and sons, book fair, carnival, and more. Sandburg Middle School, Spring Band Concert. Goddard and Sandburg bands will be performing at Goddard in a combined concert on 3/20 at 6 p.m. Students are excited to perform new songs for their families. Museum Field Trip. Miss Edwards Advanced Art students are traveling to the Broad Museum on Friday, 3/22 to view contemporary art and learn more about the artists behind the pieces. GHS Avid Interviews. Interviews for students interested in taking an Avid elective as a freshman at GHS took place on 3/19 in the Sandburg Library. GHS counselors facilitated interviews and commented on how well our 8th graders articulated and presented themselves. We are proud of the Sandburg Avid program and how well our Avid teachers prepare our students for continuing with the program through high school as they set their sights on pursuing a college education. Open House. Open House takes place on 3/21 from 6 to 7:30 p.m. We are starting the evening with a brief teacher introduction and a PTA meeting in the gym and classrooms will be open for visitors from 6:30 to 7:30 p.m. We're excited to showcase student work and encourage students to join their families for the evening to brag about their accomplishments. Glendora High School. March was an action-packed month filled with many events, celebrations of students, achievements, and preparations for next year. To start, GHS would like to congratulate Daniel Gonzalez for winning our Super Smash Bros. Tournament. He battles through a bracket of 32 skilled gamers on February 29th. On March 12th, a new field trip welcoming future Tartans allowed 8th grade students from Goddard and Sandburg Middle School the opportunity to learn more about GHS and the various academics, activities, and athletics it has to offer. Current GHS students, staff, and various programs welcomed our 8th graders with what it is like to be a Tartan. Class chants, interview panels, and personal bags were given to students to help excite them for an amazing freshman year. ASB held executive elections to prepare for next year. We would like to congratulate our 2024 to 2025 Executive Board, ASB President Hallie Higgins, Vice President Cole Swire, Commissioner of Assemblies Lily Lusk, and Commissioner of Activities Diana Garcia. We can't wait to see how they continue to grow and build into our school next year. The SoCal Trade Fair was held at GHS on Wednesday, March 20th for all junior and senior students. Over 50 trade schools and companies were on hand to meet with our students about internships and job opportunities. Our drama department wrapped up their spring play Radium Girls. This drama told the important and true story of the use of radium post-World War I. Bravo to our actors and director, Mr. Stevens, for telling an important story with such talent. As many of you know, action was held last Friday and it did not disappoint. Students from all grade levels came together as Tartans to compete in one of the most thrilling and historic events at GHS. Although all grade levels did an amazing job participating, the seniors once again were on top, taking the lead by almost 40 points. However, we feel the need to give a big shout out to the freshman class. This only being their first action, they shocked the school by taking second place, defeating the juniors as well as the sophomores. In third place were the juniors, followed by sophomores taking fourth place. Staff and faculty would like to thank all students who attended the event for representing themselves in our school with Tartan pride and honor before, during, and after the event. Looking forward, the PSAT is being held on Tuesday, March 26th for sophomore students. This is a great opportunity for GHS to experience this type of standardized exam. GHS will be starting the CASP testing on Tuesday, April 9th for all junior students. Testing will take place Tuesday through Friday of that week in their English and math classes, with science CASP testing taking place the following week. Following spring break, we'll kick off senior season, where we start the process of honoring our seniors and saying goodbye. Thank you.
Aiden, thank you very much. Any questions of Aiden from the board? We appreciate your update. The next item is comments from the Board of Education, and I will start with my right. Trustee Merkley.
I really don't have much, but I noticed that tonight we are passing an education consent item for handwriting. I'm really excited about that. I just feel like that it is so important because it helps with note taking, because when you're writing, it goes to your brain. And I keep a journal. My kids are not going to be able to read it because they're not very good at reading that. But anyway, I'm really excited about that. I'm glad to be here tonight. As most of you know, if you've been here, that my daughter is expecting identical twin girls in about 2.5 weeks. So I came home for the board meeting from Utah, and I will be going back tomorrow, and you probably won't see me for about 8 weeks. So maybe 6, we'll see.
Thank you, Trustee Merkley. Trustee Garcia.
Okay, I'll make it short because we have some pretty awesome presentations today that I want to get to, but a million things going on across the school district, as I'm sure we will hear about all the amazing things. I did go see Radium Girls, and every time I see one of the performances from the GHS theater, I'm just blown away. And I wish more parents and community members would attend and just take advantage of the talent that is just available. Where's the high school? Right here, like in your backyard. And it's affordable and you're supporting the arts. So I highly, highly, highly recommend, did I say highly? To just please take a look at the schedule, take a look at the shows, because they really, this Friday, Saturday, I dragged my kids to it and they reluctantly went with me, but they really enjoyed it, which I'm happy to report that they actually enjoyed it. Future Tartan Night, as I attended wearing two hats as a mom and as a board member, and I have to say for all parents that are coming in with new freshmen, ninth graders, there is a plethora of things your kids can get involved with. I would encourage you to take a look at those emails that are being sent, all that information that is being provided to us as parents, to make sure that your students are engaging and connecting immediately as they start school. It is incredibly important. As a mother of three, I can tell you that your kids getting connected in school and finding things that bring them joy outside of academics really just makes them a more well-rounded, more successful student. So please, 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 they're not going to come and tell you. I think we as parents need to tell them what to look into at least the first year, because it's a little intimidating. I think when they come into a big campus, they don't know what to look out for. There's so many things coming at them, so please help them and guide them in making those decisions and getting them connected to the high school. That's my mom plug. I did want to talk about quickly, I attended St. Mary's College. Mount St. Mary's University had their 13th annual report on the status of women and girls in California. And some of those numbers were scary, they were sad, but a lot of them gave me a lot of hope. I really do think that it behooves all of us in education to take a look at that report, because it's important to see where we are with our girls and women. They covered things from the wage gap to the importance of financial literacy for our girls. And the report is fairly big. I have an extra copy if anyone wants it. I think I was going to give it to you. But I would highly, I know it's a lot of data, but it is important data. And I think when we are in the business of educating the next generation, it's important to understand where we are, what's working, what's not working, and where we need to pivot to ensure that we are providing what our girls need to be successful in this world. So I can forward it to you via email. If anybody wants to reach out, I'm happy to send it to you via email. I did want to give a shout out to the high school for going outside the box with the trade show. I know it's the first of its kind, or at least this one. It was huge. And Elizabeth and I went along with Dr. DeGrazia to check it out because it was our first time. And I was very impressed. As a parent and as a board member, I'm very proud of that. I think a lot of kids were very interested. I tried to speak to most of the businesses and ask them questions about what type of programs they had available for our students, for our graduates, for kids with a 2-year community college certificate. So there was a lot of valuable information for our kids who maybe just are not interested in college right now and want to get straight into the workforce. There were so many options for them. So thank you for bringing that, because I know I've heard it from family members, from community members and parents who want those options for their kids. So I'm happy to report that we are providing them with that information. So thank you for, again, going outside of the box and bringing that to the school. I appreciate it. And Gary's looking at me funny, so that's all.
Just listening. Trustee Lopez, do you have anything?
Yeah.
Any gems of wisdom for us tonight?
No gems of wisdom, no. But, no, just to talk about, just so proud of everybody that was recognized tonight. The GHS, the band and pageantry, they're always doing well, right? The National Merit finalists, that's not easy to do in California. It's easy to do in other states, but not in California. So you have to be special people, right? Your band has to be special people. The same thing with Samantha Sachs. I was fortunate enough to be up at the state tournament and watch her wrestle the quarterfinal and semifinal matches. And she did a really good job of playing to her strengths and winning both those. I didn't stay for the state championship, but it's really special when you can get to that level and wrestle at that level. And if you've never been to a state championship, you need to go because of all the action that's happening all at one time in that arena. And the Palomar Scholar Athletes. Again, another group of kids that are not only doing it in the classroom, they're doing it on our fields and they're on our courts. And so that's what brings me to say a comprehensive high school is so important to our kids. And we have to make sure that we keep feeding that part of our schools. Kids go to school for a number of different reasons, and we have to make sure that we have things in place for everybody. And that's not easy to do. I'm glad to see the trade show was good. It was awesome. But we have to continue to try to build on that. And the other thing too, student voice becomes super important. What are the kids looking at? What do the kids want? And I think Glendora schools do a really good job, and Glendora High School does a really good job of listening to the student voice. So very proud of everybody tonight, proud of all the work that's being done in Glendora Unified. Appreciate all of our administrators, all of our educators in the district, because I think we're providing a quality education for all of our students in the district.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. I have a few comments. First, I just wanted to thank all of the parents and members of our community that were compelled to email me in the last 2 weeks about issues in the community and our schools. It was very helpful. All of those emails, as you know, I sent on to the appropriate person within our community to help get that fixed. As you know, I'm not going to jump into action and fix those problems. That's not the appropriate thing to do, but I did get an extensive amount of information this week and sent it to the appropriate staff member. I think we all get emails during the last 2 weeks, and I was really satisfied with the results from our superintendent and his staff, with the assistant superintendents, and the attention that our parents get when they ask for those hard questions and ask us to follow up. So I really appreciated that. I also wanted to comment on the trade show. There was a really good company there called Athens Services, had an awesome booth, and I can't tell you how many people were so excited to talk about the waste and recycling business, the scientific end of it. We hire a lot of high school, Azusa High School, Glendora residents as they transition. Some go to college, some go to our junior colleges, some start out in our apprenticeship programs that have to do with mechanics and recycling and the scientific side of the equipment that actually does the recycling. Our booth was busy all day long, and it was really nice to see that attention and the fact that the students recognize local companies. They really recognize the local companies. They're excited about them, and I thought the trade show, although I was working, I couldn't attend it, was really a hit when I got an update from our staff members that were there, and I thought that was really a big deal. In closing, I just want to say, when we talk about Pride of the Foothills, and we talk about Glendora High School and our middle schools and our elementary schools, as we engage them with our open houses, and I think these are our final 2 presentations tonight that we're getting, and the product that we send out, we had a meeting with someone that's on a new, I can't remember the name of the panel, but our personnel commission, and they were talking to us tonight about the product that we put out from this high school after our children go to the district, and they're standing in front of you tonight. But, you know, championship athletes. But the most important part of that is everyone in front of you tonight was also, you know, scholastically above the mark of 4.0. So just high-performing students willing to go that extra mile. And it's just a proud moment to be up here and serve them. But not only that, to present them to our community. And that is a result of all of the staff members here that are in the audience and here that support these students and give them the tools to be successful, like the trade show and like the event where our Sandbergen Middle School parents and board members went to the introduction, right, of the high school, where we actually took the students down to the high school, right, and said, welcome, We look forward to having each and every one of you. And by the way, bring a friend. Take them off the waiting list from the other school. Bring them to Glendora High School with you. Because we did get some data that showed, yes, there are waiting lists at some of our private schools to get in. And it's up to your board to figure out how to make this district more attractive for these Glendora students to get them into this school and, you know, let them become a tartan and graduate with all those honors like our children did and our future students will. So it's a very prideful moment when we get to do these presentations, and I'm just thrilled at the support that our students get at every one of our facilities. That being said, I'm going to transition to the guy to the right, who's called Superintendent, and he's going to give us his update. Good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Clifford, members of the board, distinguished guests. Next week is a special week. What's next week, Aiden? Thank you. I knew you'd get that right. Spring break. We wish all GSD students, families, and staff a very well-deserved and restful and safe spring break. Next week, school resumes on Monday, April 8th. Come the rest of this week, right? We need you to keep coming and being consistent in your attendance. You've done a great job so far. We want to finish strong, and we want to finish well. A few things to point out with the Glendora Education Foundation. Our Mission 18 winning project has been selected. It is related to cyanobacteria. Mr. Osborne will give a dissertation later this evening if you would like to stay behind for that. There are 39 winning flight experiments across the nation, only 39. Glendora High School has one of them. Flight teams are now conducting preliminary tests and optimizing their experiments before they finalize their experiment details. We have selected the middle school and high school patch design winners, as well as the elementary coloring contest winners. They will be presented at the April 22nd board meeting, and you'll see their artwork and their patch designs at that time. Foundation's annual fundraiser, Food for Thought, is Friday, April 19th. Tickets are on sale now in limited quantity for Rancho Vasquez location this year. First time ever there. GlendoraEdFoundation.org for more information. Preparations underway for the 2024-2025 school year. Registrations are being accepted at all sites. Dr. Naharro ran a wonderful TK and Kinder parent information night last week. We were pulling chairs out left and right. Couldn't get them out as fast as we could at the Bidwell Forum. Very well attended. We will hope that that is a very good sign for TK and K kinder enrollment for next year. Open houses, as has been said. Last week we had the middle schools. This week, 3 elementaries. Lefetre and Stanton on Thursday and Sutherland on Wednesday. The LCAP survey is out in the community. It's out to staff. Please complete those by April 10th, so a little bit more time to get those in to us and give your feedback so we can hear your voice. And special commendations to Wickham High School teacher, Mr. Ralph Love. Ralph's an English teacher at Wickham High School. He will be deployed. He's a reservist, and he has received a deployment. He's in the Army. After spring break, he will be deployed for 9 months. He's one of our most outstanding teachers, not just at Wickham, but in the Glendora Unified School District. So we give him well wishes, safe travels, and sincere appreciation to him and all who faithfully serve and dutifully serve all of our military branches. So thank you, Ralph. We wish him well in his travels. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Any questions from the board members about that report? All right. That being said, we are going to move on to 5.1, which is our staff presentations, which means Principal Katie Green is going to come up and give us a fabulous presentation on Lefetre Elementary School.
Thank you for that. Good evening, Superintendent Dr. DeGrazia, President Clifford, Board of Trustees and Cabinet members. I'm excited to be here with you tonight to show you some snapshots on Lefetre. I do want to say thank you to my staff for coming out. It's been a busy March, and we do have our open house this week. And the fact I have so many here really means a lot to me and shows what a wonderful staff I have. So thank you all so much. All right. I'll remember to do this. All right. I wanted to first start out
by talking about our PTA and our very own LaFetra Foundation, who play a vital role in shaping our school community. Having experienced schools in other districts without a PTA, I can confidently say that our PTA makes a significant impact. They consistently provide monthly and weekly activities for our students and staff. For instance, our PTA organizes the Mileage Club every Wednesday, allowing our students to participate and stay active. They also arrange very engaging events such as assemblies, family nights, award ceremonies, and our exceptional talent show. That was one of my favorites. Our PTA also extends their support to our staff as well. They decorate our teachers' doors, provide food during parent-teacher conferences, and even gift money to teachers at the beginning of the year for their classrooms. Our foundation has been incredibly supportive in enhancing the technology resources at our school. They contribute toward the salary of our technology aide, Ms. Johnson, and also cover the cost of online subscriptions such as Reflex, MathSeeds, MobiMax. For our students, all these initiatives are made possible through the fundraisers and organizations on our campus. All right, on to our student population. Here's a snapshot of our enrollment broken down by subgroups. Our numbers have remained pretty consistent with last year's enrollment numbers. Our current average class size for K3 is 24.1 and 4th and 5th is 28.1. We have 21 brick and mortar classrooms and 14 portables. Our current enrollment is 596. In addition to our general education enrollment, we welcome the TKK special education class to our campus this year. All right, this slide shows our CASP ELA academic performance. You can see that we are 63.8% proficient or above in language arts, which we maintained from the previous year. That puts us in the green category on the dashboard. We have no groups in red or very low, and many subgroups do not appear with data on the dashboard due to the number in the group being tested is less than 30. We do have 2 subgroups in the yellow band. We also have identified that our students with disabilities show an equity gap as compared to all students, as they are in the orange, showing they declined from the previous year. This overall data shows last year's 3 through 5 grades. For our current school year, we have our STAR reading data that is predictive of the state assessments. This shows that currently in grades 1st through 5th, we have about 61% of our students at or above grade level. This slide shows our CAS math academic performance. Our data for the 22-23 year shows that 50% of our students are at or above grade level. This is a slight increase from the previous year. It is important to note that for math, none of our subgroups are in the red category. Our socioeconomically disadvantaged and white subgroups are in the green. Our Hispanic subgroup is in the yellow. They've maintained from the year before, but are still below standard. There is an equity gap with the students with disabilities. Currently, our average STAR math scores show 68% of students in grades 2 through 5 are at or above grade level. These scores are said to be predictive of the state tests. So with this and the addition of our math intervention teacher, we're looking forward to seeing our 23-24 scores. Our English learner progress. You can see that 61% of our English learners are making progress towards English language proficiency. Currently, we have 36 English learners and 7 students have reclassified. Our LP data is grayed out because subgroups with less than 30 are not given a color band. It is also worth noting this year we have had an increase in newcomer students. For chronic absenteeism, we are excited to see a decrease from last year's 17.9% to our current rate of 10.8%. This year, no subgroups are in the red. Although our chronic absenteeism rate last year was in the yellow, we still were able to exit ATSI this year due to our 2 or more racist subgroups showing a decrease. We are planning on implementing an attendance reward program when we get back from spring break for the final 2 months with the goal of further increasing attendance rates. Suspension rates. For our suspensions rates, we are at 1%, which is very low. This is a small increase of 0.3% from the previous year. We have 2 subgroups in the orange, 1 subgroup in the yellow, and all other subgroups in the blue. Overall, we are continuing to analyze all student behavior to improve our performance and close the equity gap. Reflecting on behavior challenges, we are revamping and analyzing our PBIS strategies. Our student support specialist, Mrs. Lopez, teaches SEL monthly lessons and classes, and we continue to use our Lion Loot, which is a yellow ticket system where students get tickets for showing their positive ROAR expectations. We also have begun using our blue tickets, which are reminders to change a behavior that doesn't fit with our ROAR expectations. We also hold restorative conversations to support students in returning to their classroom while also ensuring they are held responsible for their behavior. All right, we had 4 categories for reflection and focus. Throughout this year as a new principal at the school, we've been focusing on reflection, progress, and growth. This year, there were 4 areas of focus that we saw progress and growth. These were strategic changes that came from examining our school both internally and externally. The first area of focus of improvement was enhancing our math and reading intervention programs. Transitioning from one teacher last year handling both subjects to having separate teachers this year for each subject, supported by aides. Our second focus is our STEAM lab. We are currently expanding our STEAM lab with the assistance of GEF, transitioning from a traditional computer lab. Additionally, our PTA plays a significant role in our school community, and this year we expanded by incorporating community volunteers. We had students from APU and Glendora High School who helped reinstate our STEAM night. Our last focus was restructuring our staff meetings to emphasize best practices, moving away from the one-way communication from the principal to an interactive meeting where information is shared, followed by collaborative activities with the staff. Right, this is a fun part. The LaFetra program highlights. Starting with students, LaFetra offers various opportunities for students, including academic and character awards, the AR Superstars for reading achievements, the Class Ambassador Program for leadership development, the Mileage Club for physical activity, and the MIG After School Language Program for cultural exploration. Instructionally, LaFetra utilizes the depth and complexity framework and avid initiatives to enhance critical thinking, academic rigor, and college career readiness for elementary school students. Our staff is undergoing continuous professional development in these strategies, with 15 avid teachers and 1 more attending training this summer. Next is our staff. Our staff strength relies heavily on the expertise of our staff, which is why we prioritize continuous training and learning. In addition to district-wide initiatives, we have also been tapping into the knowledge of our in-house experts. I'll talk more in depth on this later in my presentation. What's even more exciting is that our classified staff is actively participating in training as well. We were able to send one of our classified staff members to a 3-day conference. She was really excited about the experience, mentioned to me that she had never been offered an experience like this before. Seeing all of our staff receiving the training they desire has been really great this year. And on our last one, intervention. I am extremely grateful to have the privilege of working with 2 exceptional intervention teachers. Additionally, we're fortunate to have an outstanding student support specialist who played a crucial role in our team. Since September this year, 91 kids have been rostered in math intervention. 22 have exited, and 69 are currently rostered. Ms. Olaf focuses on enhancing the students' math fact fluency, spiral review, and supporting them with their current math curriculum. The progress we have witnessed thus far has been remarkable, as evident from the STAR math scores, the achievement by our interventional class. In our reading intervention program, we are currently catering to the needs of 82 students. Through the implementation of the SPIRE program taught by Ms. Lotz, students undergo assessments to determine their reading level, and they are grouped accordingly. The groups are formed based on their individual reading levels. This allows us to provide targeted instruction tailored to each student's specific needs, ensuring that any gaps in their reading skills are effectively addressed. Lastly, I would like to talk about our student support specialist, Mrs. Lopez. Currently, she's working with 77 students, but this number can vary between 60 to 90 throughout the school year, based on referrals and students transitioning in and out. The majority of her interactions are in group settings, with around 15 students seen individually. Additionally, Ms. Lopez also visits classrooms each month and also opens her classroom as a wellness room during recess. I wish they were bigger for everyone to see, because I love all the pictures. For our school album, I wanted to capture the activities that take place at La Fetra during the school day. Unlike the outdated notion that school remains unchanged over time, our school and teachers challenge this belief. We have a dedicated slide on absenteeism that I touched on earlier because we understand the importance of students coming to school each and every day. When students miss school, sending home missed work cannot replicate the valuable experience a child may have missed. La Fetra is not just a physical space with desk and worksheet. It is an irreplaceable experience. The pictures showcased here offer a glimpse into the daily happenings at La Fetra, but they only scratch the surface of the whole story. On the bottom of the screen, you'll see a snapshot of our second grader performance, which requires extensive planning and execution. The performance, lasting only an hour, was a culmination of countless hours of preparation during the school day. Above them, you can see our TK class engaging in a retelling of the classic tale of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. However, this single picture represents just one of the 4 stories they retold. What remains unseen are the students' efforts in creating their costumes and rehearsing for this performance. Additionally, hidden from view in that same picture is a kindergarten class learning how to be attentive and a respectful audience during that performance. I had so much fun watching the TK's performance. I thought it'd be fun if I can show you just this little snippet of it. If I can. They're changing to their wolf.
This house ain't coming down.
All right. So as you can see, La Fetra is the place to be. Thank you. All right. And for my last slide, my principal's choice slide, I wanted to highlight a little of what goes behind the scenes that helps create just some of the many experiences here at La Fetra. When I started La Fetra 8 months ago, I knew they wanted a STEAM lab. They were a PBI school and had great avid teachers. However, COVID and staffing changes affected these initiatives. To ensure program fidelity, staff commitment is crucial. Because we have many years of teaching experts on our staff, we used our in-house experts to help. We adapted the Phil Boyd's advice of turning the Rubik's Cube to tailor ideas to our school. As a staff, we began meeting monthly in PLCs to collaborate on safety, PBIS, AVID, and STEAM. Our safety team updated safety measures. PBIS team is continuously working on establishing consistent expectations. Our AVID team is seeing what AVID looks like at each grade level. And the STEAM group planned a Lego-focused lab before I heard we were getting one. But GEF funding for the lab further motivated our staff, driving progress towards its implementation this year. La Fetra is truly an amazing school. We have amazing parents, amazing students, and as you can see, we have a dedicated staff. And I am grateful each and every day to be a part of our La Fetra family. So thank you for letting me share this with you.
Thank you, Mrs. Green. Do you want to introduce your staff while they're here to us?
As you can see, they're all sitting in the back.
Okay.
Do you want me to introduce? That's fine. Do you all want to be introduced?
Any questions from the board?
I do have some questions. First of all, thank you. Wonderful presentation. For the benefit of the community members that are at home, can you explain what PBI means?
Yes, it's a positive behavior intervention system, and it's focusing on positive behavior initiatives for students, and that's where I talked about the Lion Loot. It's focusing on trying to find the positive things that are happening, but also we have the blue tickets that also hold kids accountable, but it's looking on both sides. It's not in the past, kids are taking their recess or things like that. It's more focusing on the positive side.
Wonderful, thank you. And I was I was pleasantly surprised to hear that you have 15 teachers in the AVID that are AVID certified. Is that the correct term?
They went to a training.
And what does that look like at the elementary level? I know what AVID looks like in middle school and high school, but what does that look like at the elementary level with having so many teachers having attended AVID training?
Well, I wish you were at our STEAM night, because they had a table there, and what it looks like is just the concepts of what AVID is. So a notebook, the organization skills. They, if you know AVID, they take one-pagers. They take a lot of the concepts that you see at all the different levels, and we do them throughout the different grade levels.
So the same, but in an elementary level. That's great. That makes me excited for them coming into middle school with already having those tools under their belt. There was another question. Oh, I wanted to say I have been privileged to be present at La Fetra and experience the collaboration, the amazing students. I got to read in your TK special education class, and you walk out of there a changed woman, or man if you were a man, but it was such a great experience for me. It was hard because to get these little ones to pay attention to my book was hard, but it was a test for me. But I just love being there, and just seeing their little faces is the cutest thing. And also for the mileage club, it's great to see the kids just going round and round and really just having those goals of getting their little cards filled out and seeing them just be active. And I think you are very correct when you say that your PTA is phenomenal. I've witnessed them at work and just the commitment that they have. So I reiterate your accolades for them, because they really are impressive. I think all of our PTAs, but I just wanted to shout out La Fetra today. I had a question about intervention, but you did tell us how many in total, so that's great. Oh, yes, question. You said 81 or, no, I don't know where, 91 students are currently here, 91 total, but 22 have exited, and then 82 currently in the reading intervention. And you only have one interventionist?
No, that's what we switched to this year. We have a math intervention, a reading intervention, and they both have an aide in their classroom as well.
So the intervention is being done outside, like the kids are being pulled out? And so how does that look like with 82 kids currently in reading intervention?
Would you like me to bring up my reading and math interventions? I would love to. All right, Miss Olaf and Miss Lotz, would you like to come up? Miss Olaf is our math intervention, and Miss Lotz is our reading intervention. Yes.
Good evening.
Good evening. Don't be nervous. I'm not putting you on the spot. I just kind of want to know, what does that look like? Because it sounds like it's a lot of kids for one interventionist. So I just want to make sure that, how's that going? What does that look like for our students, and what does that look like for you in the day?
You go first, you want me to? So for math intervention, it's a
You go closer to the mic so people at home can hear
For
you.
math intervention, it's a pull-out program. So students come to my classroom, which is room 23, and they are based on grade level. So they come for 30 minutes. Third, fourth, and fifth grade come 4 days a week, Monday through Thursday, for 30-minute sessions. And then second and first grade come 3 days a week for math intervention. The math intervention is a 3-part focus. One focus is mastering the fact fluency. The second focus is reinforcing what they're learning in their homeroom classes. so the current units using math expressions. And the third focus is continuing to review the grade level mastery skills. And so what does that look like? It looks like, one, the fact fluency. We use Extra Math, which is an online program to hit that master fluency. And when students master a mathematical operation, such as addition or subtraction, they earn a certificate. So we all celebrate. When it comes to reinforcing grade level content, it various manipulatives, such as whiteboards, dice, playing cards, games, Kahoot, quizzes, which it makes it engaging and fun. And in terms of spiraling on what the homeroom teachers are doing using math expressions, I will reteach certain main lesson content from the unit to reteach and help the students build that grade level understanding of the math skills. Does that clarify your question?
Yes, thank you.
I would love to have you guys come and see the action.
I would love to.
Yeah, you're welcome anytime. 82 students. Well, I have a wonderful aide that comes in, and Sherry she's amazing. So she has 31 students and I have 51. And we work in 30-minute intervals, and our students come in every 30 minutes, and we are supposed to have 5 in each group, but we've made an exception and we have 6 in a lot of our groups. And some of our groups have, we have some that have 5. Sometimes we only have a couple kids in the group until we do a transition. And we're using a new program this year, Spire. And it starts out, Miss Olive did assessments last year, at the end of the school year, and we placed them in different levels accordingly to, how their assessments were. And I came in late. I came in October and kind of talked myself out of a job in Goal. Had a lot of parents asking me what I thought about having kids in Goal, and I told them they were better in the classroom, and we ended up with, I think, 4 or 5 students, and we adjusted, and I ended up with kindergarten through 5th grade, and that's a pretty low group of students, so they asked me if I would be interested in doing intervention. I had applied for that job the year before, and because Goal had a greater need, I stayed in Goal, but when this opportunity came up, I jumped on it, and I love working with the kids. They're not necessarily by grade level, it's by level, so what their need is. So sometimes it's a mixed group. It's 1st graders, 2nd graders, 3rd graders. I do have groups with 4th grade and 5th grade students in those, and one of my groups is 10 5th grade students, and they come and they are working on Read Live. So when they were assessed, they didn't quite fit into the Spire, but they needed fluency and comprehension. So we put them in the Read Live, and I work with them for part of the day. But our Spire program, they're working Monday through Thursday on concepts, and on Fridays, I'm pulling the kids one-on-one and assessing them to see if they have mastered the skills that we're teaching, and if we have a student that's still struggling, then we do reinforcement lessons, and then we assess them the next Friday. And once all of the students in the group have mastered those skills, then we move on to the next lesson. It's a very systematic, and it's going well based on what the feedback is from the teachers. So we'll just keep on plugging away. But you're welcome to come and watch and help. We would love it. So
There's
thank you
plug,
for the
right?
opportunity to share.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for coming up and explaining that. Appreciate it.
Any other board questions?
I just have a
Yes.
couple of
Trustee
comments, because of
Barclay.
course, my grandson goes to LaFayette. He's in that TKK special ed class, and his picture's here. So cute. And I got to help in the classroom a few times until I had to take care of my daughter. And it was, as Mrs. Garcia said, just such a joy to be in there, to see those kids, to be able to actually work with them and help them. It was really good. You meant, first, Breakfast with Buddies. My husband and son-in-law went with Luke to that, and they just had such a good time. So thanks to the PTA for putting that on. And you said newcomer students. Are those new to the district, immigrants, people that
New to the country,
new
yes.
to the country?
So I think this month we had 2 newcomers this month, and 2 are coming right after spring break as well. So they're enrolling as well. So it's exciting. I've been working a lot with Dr. Naharo, getting the kids, in class and getting supported. Our Yale kids.
So, how many languages are spoken at the Phaedra?
I wish I had that. Is it?
We can get back to you on that exact number.
Thank you.
We have over 40 across the district.
40. That's just so amazing. So, kudos for being able to handle that, because that has to be challenging. I know I was in line at Stanton first after the time changed, and they had someone who spoke only Mandarin. Luckily, one of the dads in line was able to come in and translate. And technology is amazing, because a different dad had questions, and he, speaking to his phone, and then Mrs. Galindo would answer him, and it would translate it. So we are really in a great time with technology. And great presentation. Thank you very much, Mrs. Green.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
No, very well done. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Not to be outdone tonight, our next presentation is Glendora High School by Mrs. Jamie Norrell and staff.
Absolutely. I did. Good night. Wants to be quicker. My technology expert. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having us. Board President, Mr. Clifford, GUSD trustees, Superintendent Dr. DeGrazia, and GUSD Cabinet. Our Glendora High School team is happy to be here this evening to present just a few of the amazing things happening at Glendora High School. While I have great admiration for Dr. Agverdian and the wonderful things happening at Goddard Middle School, I've heard a little bit about his presentation, and I think you will see from our presentation that his USC math skills may have caught up with him. Go Bruins. GHS is a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week campus. Our students are constantly pursuing their passions, both in and out of the classroom, and we are excited to talk to you about some of these areas this evening. With me presenting are our GHS administrative team, assistant principals, Mr. Eric Bondurant, Ms. Luz Lozano, and Mr. Rod Tilton, and our lead counselor, Michelle Ashley. We are also appreciative of our staff who is here with us this evening that came out to support our students, and also those of us presenting. On the next slide, we talk about our site, and if I had to come up with one word to describe Glendora High School this year, it would be teamwork. We are appreciative of the unending support we have received from all of you and the rest of the Glendora Unified School District office staff. We are extremely grateful for a culture on our campus of working together. This year, we had the theme of Get On Board, and through that team, we've seen much more than record rainfall, hurricanes, floods, and leaky pipes. We promise no more water themes. We have seen students join forces to support and give back. Teachers collaborate to refine instruction and assessment and develop new classroom procedures. The Culture of Plaid groups have worked together to find common ground and develop ways to continue to connect different areas of our campus. To quote the great John Wooden, a player who makes a team great is more valuable than a great player. Losing yourself in the group for the good of the group, that's teamwork. Together, we are better, and I think you will see from the many achievements we will be discussing today that we have come from members of our Tartan community working together for the betterment of students both in and out of the classroom. Next, I would like to turn it over to Assistant Principal, Mr. Rod Tilton.
Glendora High School has a current population of 2,121 students. As declining enrollment begins to impact Glendora High School, we see our campus continue to grow in racial ethnic diversity, while our Asian, Filipino, Hispanic, Latino, and multiple no-response subgroups grow. Our African American and white subgroups decline. The percentage of our students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged is growing, but as systems evolve for identifying this group post-pandemic, these numbers will adjust. Finally, we are appreciative of Mrs. Brittany Woolridge, our school support specialist, who provides an invaluable support and resources for our foster youth and homeless population. Our average class size for English and math are 31.6, while our class average for science and social science is 30.8. The high school master schedule is a very complex puzzle, so these class averages do take into account some of our classes that are smaller by design, such as some intervention courses and our AP capstone program that has a College Board recommended class size. To accommodate these classes, Glendora High School currently has 85 brick and mortar classrooms and 8 portable classrooms. Now I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Luz Lozano.
The GHS testing participation rate for 11th grade students increased by 1.2% to 97.4 overall in English language arts. GHS also saw an increase of 2.86% of students above or at standard in ELA. Not represented in the color chart due to the group size being below 30, the GHS English learner students saw a significant improvement on the CASP assessment with a 20.4-point increase. Additionally, each of our ethnic subgroups achieved at the green or blue level, with each seeing improvement with the exception of the white subgroup. While showing a slight increase from last year, our students with disabilities still score below the state average. Our staff is working with these 67 students, ensuring that we are reviewing data and creating curriculum opportunities to help the students achieve at a higher level. Our recent focus on depth and complexity strategies will aid our staff at differentiating instruction. Finally, our socioeconomically disadvantaged students declined by 10.7 points, placing them at the yellow level. While still above the state average, GHS will be focusing on support. The GHS testing rate for 11th grade students in mathematics increased by 1.6% to 98% overall. GHS saw an increase of 3.05% of students above or at standard in mathematics. The GHS 11th grade Hispanic subgroup demonstrated significant improvement of 28.6 points on reaching standard. While they still fall at 40.3 points shy of the state standard, the movement forward is encouraging. The GHS students with disabilities continue to fall over 159 points shy of the state standards on the CASP assessment. Focus will continue on ensuring curriculum and instruction align with state standards, including the use of interim assessments to not only track progress, but to also serve as a formative assessment. While we showed significant improvement on the math CASP exam, our students still fell 10.3 points below the state standard. The introduction of our MSS course to fill some of the math gaps students suffered during the pandemic has been encouraging. We celebrate our gains from the 2022 school year, but recognize we still have a lot of work to accomplish. Next slide. This slide celebrates the work of our 90 English language learner students. Last year, we saw a 10.8% increase in the progress that we're making. Out of the 60 students who were tested with scores from 2 years, 56.7% of those students are making progress by making a level improvement on the LPAC. These students are improving and not staying static. A large part of their success is due to the tremendous support they receive from the primary language aides, our amazing EL teacher, Ms. Michelle Rickstad, and our staff who continually look for ways to support these individuals. Ms. Rickstad has worked to adjust her instruction to meet the needs of these students and has developed rubrics that support them in their English classes. Additionally, she has one-on-one meetings with the students to help them understand their progress and reclassification giving them the why. The results of this support and motivation was evidenced in the results of 37.33% of our EL students scoring at a level 4 on the LPAC in 2023. We continue to look for ways to improve our support and sent Ms. Rickstedt to CABE conference a few weeks ago, and she is already putting those ideas to work. Next, I would like to introduce Mr. Eric Bondurant.
The GHS graduation rate is extremely high at 98% and ranks in the blue category, with all significant subgroups ranking in the green or blue level. Glendora High School counselors continue to work with their students on their 4-year plans each year and provide multiple opportunities for students to get back on track if they struggle along the way. While we ranked high in the College and Career Indicator, we would like to focus on creating pathways for our students with disabilities, allowing them to access the prepared level. We have started to focus on the College and Career Indicators and monitor data to increase our performance in this area as part of our 4-year plan. We need to identify CTE pathways that work best for our students, specifically our students with disabilities, where only 12.2% of those students are prepared for college or career. Next is Mr. Rod Tilton, who will discuss our suspension rates.
On this slide, we see the GHS suspension rate during the 22-23 school year increased to 3.4%, or 78 students being suspended. This rate placed us at the orange level in all subgroups. We continue to work on reduction of suspension rates by using other means of correction when applicable prior to suspension. GHS no longer suspends for attendance or minor behavior infractions. Staff continues to be educated in the multi-tiered systems of support for students. We are also using some of our programs, such as Culture Plaid Student Group, to address strategies to promote inclusion and connectedness to our campus. We will continue to only suspend for the Big 5 offenses dictated by the California Education Code, and to this year, we have only suspended 24 students, and we have only had 1 suspension since the beginning of February. I would now like to turn it over to Ms. Michelle Ashley as we begin to discuss our reflections and focus.
Thank you. So I'm going to be addressing the first 3 items on this screen. The first item is related to our A to G data. For the graduating class of 2023, 87% of the students who had access to the college prep curriculum were enrolled in the required A to G courses up through their senior year. 72% of these students successfully completed all requirements with a C or higher, which is a 6% increase from the previous school year. One of the areas that we have and we continue to target are those students who complete the required courses but with 1 or more D's or F's. We have increased opportunities through our credit-based independent study program, both during summer as well as during the school year, in order to offer remediation opportunities beyond the traditional summer school program. For this current school year, 32% of the students taking these CBIS courses are doing it for grade remediation to meet the A to G requirements rather than simply taking courses for graduation. An additional area that we are focusing on is a renewed awareness and understanding of the A to G requirements, both for our staff and students, through presentations which have begun this year, and updated visual aids which will be in every classroom for the 24-25 school year. The second item on this slide relates to post-high school plans. 40% of the students from the class of 2023 planned on continuing their education at a four-year university, which, while it has not yet returned to our pre-pandemic rates, is up 2% from the previous year. 51% of our students were starting at a 2-year university, and an additional 3% planned on entering a trade, vocational, apprenticeship program, or the military, for a total of 94% of our students having a declared plan to continue their education and training after graduation. In an effort to continue to provide our students with support and education to develop their post-high school plans, we continue to offer events such as the annual college fair, educational workshops, seminars, and webinars. In addition, this year we have added 2 new events. In October, we offered our first ever combined on-the-spot admissions event, which resulted in 140 of our seniors receiving a combined total of 281 acceptances to the 4 participating 4-year universities, APU, Laverne, Cal Baptist, and Grand Canyon University. Also, as mentioned, This past week, we had our first ever SoCal Trade Show, which featured over 55 professional organizations. This was attended by all junior and senior students, where they had the opportunity to explore the world of trades and discover incredible career opportunities, training and certification programs, as well as get connected to internships, mentorships, and apprenticeships. Item 3 on this slide focuses on student mental health. We wanted to highlight our student support specialist, Brittany Wooldridge, and the services that her position has brought to GHS. She has officially assigned 98 students on her cohort. Approximately 13 of these students are foster youth and 11 are homeless. This year, 76 students have received donations from Shoes That Fit, 24 have received school supplies and/or backpacks, and 17 holiday meals have been provided. Our student support specialist is also running small group sessions, which meet a total of at least 10 times based on need. She is currently in week 7 of the current group and plans on completing one more small group prior to the end of the school year. As of this week, our student support specialist has also served as a lead for our Moments of Calm presentations in classes. With our team of counselors, we will have completed 107 of these push-in presentations by the end of the month. I'll now turn it back over to Eric to discuss the next several items on the slide.
Okay, I'll be addressing items 4, 5, and 6. Item 4 focuses on chronic absenteeism. Over the last year, we have seen an improvement in our chronic absenteeism numbers. Our overall numbers improved with our chronically absent rate by declining 1.7%, bringing up our average daily attendance rate to 95.81%. We are focusing our attention and efforts on those who still fall into the chronically absent category. We are currently in the process of an attendance improvement incentive program specifically designed for our chronically absent students. This program provides monthly raffle items to incentivize improved attendance. We will continue to find innovative ways to support and motivate these students to get them into the classroom and fully experience the education that GHS provides. Item 5 is our CTE program, which continues to prepare our students for post-secondary life beyond GHS. We are extremely proud of the immediate success that the aviation pathway has achieved, and we look forward to fostering its future growth and opportunities. As we celebrate our 50-plus pathway completers this year, we understand that our overall CTE program must continue to provide our students with beneficial opportunities. Student interest, student need, and current job market demand will continue to be the focus that further develops our CTE program. Item 6 on the slide is our VAPA program. Once again, Glendora High School's Visual and Performing Arts has been highlighted by Network News. Not too long ago, our pipe band was highlighted for their historic Scotland competition, and now our band and pageantry are on the news for being selected to perform in the Independence Day Parade in Washington, D.C. All of our performing arts are exceptional and provide various opportunities for our students to share their outstanding talents. The GHS visual art teachers also continue to challenge and promote their students in the various mediums that we offer. Our visual arts programs continue to further develop the exceptional skills of our natural-born artists, while at the same time drawing in and inspiring new students to the love of the arts. Many of these talented students will be displaying their artwork at our annual art show on May 1st. GHS is looking forward to the positive impact Prop 28 will have on both our visual and performing arts. Once again, we're going to pass it back to Luz.
For the next 3 items, first, the GHS WASC Action Plan guides the work on our campus daily. This coming year, our staff is getting ready for our WASC one-day virtual revisit in the spring of 2025, which focuses on 3 action plans that are aligned with our site goals. Our staff met this year and reviewed SBAC results and data in WASC focus groups. Based on this data review, the groups discuss how their departments have used best practices and teaching strategies to contribute to our growth. In addition, our staff had conversations on how we are making progress in our departments towards meeting our action plan goals of safety, career readiness, and aligning curriculum to improve student achievement. Always, a highlight in our campus is our AP data is a source of celebration. In 2023, our students achieved an 82% passing rate on AP exams. In 2023, we added a new AP pre-calculus course, giving the opportunity to 31 more students to access these AP classes. After getting our results from the College Board, 195 of our students were named AP Scholars with a passing score average of 3.85 or higher. Next year, AP Psychology and Physics will have additions to their curriculum, and we will work with our teachers to make sure they have the resources to implement the new concepts to our students. GHS continues to work with meaningful assessment data. Our departments are now reviewing interim assessments with questions that reflect the language and format of our CAS exams. Our math and science teachers are working on how to better fit each type of questions from the state interim assessments into each of the individual subjects in their department. English teachers continue to work on common writing assessments and rubrics as they refine the writing process across each level. Now back to Rod.
I will have the last three items here. As a staff, we are proud of how our students have embraced giving back to others. GHS held our first Whiteout Week during the winter, and we were able to raise just under $2,000 for the Jimmy V Foundation. In kickoff week to Kindness Week, approximately 100 GHS students met at elementary schools on a late start Monday to greet the students in the morning drop-off. Despite the rainy conditions, it ended up being an amazing day as GHS students were able to greet the kids at their parents' cars and escort them under an umbrella to their campus. Finally, we have estimated that GHS students have served well over 5,000 hours of community service. This goes well beyond just our CSF, National Honor Society, and AVID students. There are many more clubs and individuals that enjoy giving back. Number 11. In light of what happened in December on GHS campus, safety remains an important focus. After surveying 88% of our freshmen and 84% of our juniors, when asked if they felt unsafe at school, only 2% of our freshmen and 4% of our juniors said yes. We are continually revising our safety plans and how we communicate that with our students, staff, and community. On the last bullet point, celebrating success, with so many fantastic things happening at JHS, celebrating success is something we work hard at, part of every day. We are looking forward to our all-student awards scheduled for April 18th, when we will be celebrating well over 400 students for their accolades. Back in October, leadership and counselors began recognizing our Students of the Month. We have also had a great response from celebrating our students on social media. We have shout-outs, birthdays, and as this has helped us to get their name, to know their name, face, and story. It has been great to see how many more of our students are being recognized and celebrated. We feel that this has had a direct impact on how our students are connected to GHS. From starting the year, encouraging our students to get on board with our new tagline of get on board, to what we've recently came across with is, it might not be your trash, but it is our campus. When we encourage our students for cleanliness and picking up their trash. GHS students feel a positive connection to our campus. Now I'm going to throw it back to Jamie.
This next slide highlights the four corners of our campus. It's easy to take a picture of our athletes and performing arts students to celebrate their success, but data is our way to celebrate the academic achievements at GHS. Our AVID and AP programs continue to thrive. Our AVID program has already achieved 100% four-year acceptance rate and continues to provide students not just with information regarding applying to colleges, but also scholarship opportunities for our AVID students. Our AP program achieved a 3% increase in 2023 of students who passed the AP exam, with an additional 33 students testing and an additional 74 exams attempted, totaling 1,147 exams. This year, we have 576 students registered for AP testing who will take approximately 1,346 exams. Finally, our A to G rates are climbing. As Michelle stated, our rates increased by 6% with the class of 2023, with over 40% of those seniors planning to attend a four-year college, a 2% increase from the previous year. Academically, our Tartans are well prepared for their next phase of life. In activities, in 2023 climate survey, 63% of our students reported feeling connected to Glendora High School. During the 21 administration of the same survey, only 56% of our juniors reported that feeling. Even with a 7% increase, we are continually looking for big and small ways to connect students to our campus. We have 70% of our student body purchasing an ASB card and sold 1,446 tickets to homecoming, and 72% of our student body purchased and attended action this past week. In addition to these big events, our Get On Board activity this year saw at minimum 95% of our student body wearing their red shirts and participating in our connectedness activities. We continue to collect feedback from our student body and had a class survey this past January that ASB is currently using as a planning tool for next school year. In athletics, over 38% of our student body is involved in athletics. So far this year, we've had 3 league championships and 9 teams and 14 individuals qualifying for CIF. We've had 2 individuals qualify for state, Dylan Flores in cross country, finishing 7th, and Samantha Sachs, as you heard earlier, 2nd in state. Most importantly, our Blast, it's a fundraising opportunity, but our representative reported out to us that GHS has the most students playing in multiple sports, especially our female athletes, compared to surrounding schools. The final corner is our arts corner. During the 23-24 school year, 20% of our student body participated in performing arts, for a total of 453 students. Our programs are thriving, and we're excited to see how that grows with Proposition 28. Currently, our programs have the following enrollment: drama, 73 students; orchestra, 165 students; band and pageantry, over 103, and choir at 94 students. We are finding success at GHS in whatever corner you look. The next slide shows you a few of the images that demonstrate our student and staff involvement on our campus. Next, when I was first named principal, I met with a mentor principal from Orange County. I asked her what the greatest change I would see as I moved from AP to just the P. She told me that my #1 responsibility was the culture of our campus. So last summer, we set our goals for 2023, and we knew we wanted to focus on 2 things: culture and communication. While the culture at GHS has always been something to celebrate, we wanted to make sure we were engaging all members of the Tartan family in these celebrations. As educators, we are always point to engagement as the key to success. And there are 3 elements to engagement: behavioral, cognitive, and emotional. Connecting on the emotional level has become the why for us. We started the school year in a new way, encouraging students to come to campus without backpacks, wearing their red shirts, and with the intent that they were going to get on board with the school year. The positive outcomes of these days were numerous and led our staff to crave ways to create connectedness with all of their classes. So we set out to create these Tartan connectedness moments. Our goal next year is to get these moments in early in the school year and help develop those emotional connections that are one of the foundations of a successfully engaged classroom. In addition, we have created our Culture of Plaid staff and student groups. In each case, we work to bring different factions of our campus together to create our Tartan fabric, celebrating differences, common experiences, and goals, while creating, again, that culture of connectedness. We've expanded that idea to our Captains Club, where leaders from all athletic and performing arts organizations on campus will come together to provide feedback. Finally, I've been proud of our students and staff for the way they always come together to give to others. With Pink Out Week, White Out Cancer Week, where students and family raise funds for the Jimmy V Cancer Research Foundation, and our Kindness Week kickoff, where our students help welcome our elementary students. We are always looking for ways to give back. With so much good happening at GHS, our biggest challenge is getting that message out. We have worked as a campus to align our communication plan through the use of social media, Parent Square Communications, Tartan Talk, our website and marquee, and on campus publicly through posters and morning announcements. We can't do enough to celebrate the amazing work that's happening on our campus on a daily basis. Whether you are 16 or 22 plus, Glendora High School is truly an amazing place to come to school every day, as you can see by this slide with our teachers enjoying Friday lunch outside together with our students. That is all. I thank you for having us, and we are here for any questions.
Thank you very much. I know that I don't have to ask if there's any questions because I know there will be, so we'll start with, do you have any questions, Mrs. Merkley?
I don't really have questions. I just have a couple comments. Is that I love Glendora High School. All 5 of my kids graduated from there and had a great time and went on to be the successful, great adults. And I know it started with the schools and especially with Glendora High School. And as the holiday basket, well, I'm really in the chair of getting the funds, but I'm still involved with that. And I know that without Glendora High School and the food that you collect, we would not be able to do it half as many baskets as we do. So we really do appreciate that part of your giving back.
Absolutely, thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Merkley. Monica?
Thank you. Great presentation. Thank you all for being here. I know it shows your collaborativeness by all of you being here and not leaving Miss Norrell to do it all by herself. So thank you for splitting the load. I have a few questions, not a few, just don't be scared.
Yeah, you're good.
I have a question because I did read about 100% of the AVID students getting accepted to a 4-year college, and I'm very proud of that. Thank you for all the work that you guys do to make that happen. How many AVID students are we talking about?
Our senior class, gosh, don't ask me numbers, I'm horrible. Our senior class, I think, covers right about 60 this year.
That's great. And then I had a question. I know Mrs. Clune is out there, but I wanted to ask a question about the ASB. I was there with PTA during registration, and this is just kind of a little feedback and a question. You know, the kids are doing a great job of getting kids to purchase the ASB card, but it is a little pricey. And I know there's amazing benefits with the ASB card. So I had spoken to one of the students and asked if you guys had scholarships for maybe students that can't afford the ASB card but would like one. And I don't know if that has been something that you guys have created yet or are thinking about.
We don't have a program currently in place for the absolute, but again, our counselors do a wonderful job. They know their students so well that if students are struggling to purchase a prom ticket or homecoming or a yearbook, we have processes in place that get those opportunities out to the student. We don't ever want a student not to participate in anything on our campus because of the cost of the event. So absolutely, our counselors communicate that.
Thank you for clarifying that. And then I have a question for your A through G data that Ms. Ashley mentioned. You said 87% who had access. What does that mean? Who has access and why wouldn't someone have access?
So what that means is students who are accessing a college prep or honors AP level. So students who are not part of our special education department just because, or courses, because that would take them out of the A to G courses. Those courses are not A to G approved at this time.
So it would only be our special ed students who do not have access to the A through G
requirements. And it's not that they don't have access, they're not accessing currently because of their individual education plan.
Okay.
So they absolutely have access to those classes. They're just part of their plan is not having that.
Got it. Okay, I think that's all I had. I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Garcia. Trustee Lopez.
Got a lot of questions.
Uh-oh.
No,
There we go.
no, very well done. Thank you very much. Thank you all for being here, of course. No, everything's great. Everything looks good. You guys are building and you're doing great things there. So I appreciate you guys and all you do.
Thank you.
You know a little bit about that place, right?
Just a little.
I do have a few questions. Just a quick follow-up from Trustee Garcia. I just want to make sure that I heard you correctly. If there's a student that's in financial need and they want to attend an event or they want an ASB card and they can demonstrate to you that that's a trouble for them, we do have a process and a method to get them on the path of where they want to go, correct?
Absolutely.
And so no student is turned, like if they come to you with that need, we provide that resource, correct?
Everything on our campus, not just with
Beautiful.
activities, with AP testing, with graduation regalia, with
Whatever.
yearbooks, all
I
of
mean, if
those
you don't,
things.
please do, but I wanna make
Exactly.
sure and double down on that, because I want
Absolutely.
all of our students to have the experience, and we'll worry about the rest later, personally.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
And then there was, I didn't like what I heard, and that's usually me not hearing it properly, but I would like to talk to you, Ms. Norrell, about Mr. Tilton's presentation on the suspension rate. And I don't know if the words, what I heard, like, flew my chair back, but you didn't see it. What I thought I heard was that our suspension rates are going, what I thought I heard you say was that our suspensions rates have increased, so we no longer suspend for minor infractions and only suspend for the big five. That's what I thought I heard.
So kind of two separate thoughts. They had increased last year, but at that point too, the education codes have changed, so you don't suspend for things like a student having too many tardies or cuts. You don't continue to take them out of school when they're already missing school. So that suspension rate, even last year, was based on, those big five, those egregious offenses that are really causing a threat to the safety of the student or to our campus at that time. So that rate has gone down from 78 students last year to, I'm gonna quote the number, 24 this year.
So are there two different measurements then? There's a measurement for the big five and a measurement for, I need to understand that more, cause it didn't sound right.
So it's not like we're letting stuff go, if that's,
Yeah, no, it sounds like, hey, like what the DA's doing, crime's down, it's because crime's down because nobody's getting arrested. I mean, if you
So I
wanna
think
play a
two things
statistical
are
game.
at play with that decrease. And number one, I think students feeling connected again to our campus, and I think we saw a real struggle with that when through the pandemic and the struggles that families were having. So I think having them come back and feel connected to our campus has made a huge impact on our discipline. I think having a staff here that's fully staffed, that we're able to make those connections. So, the four behind me, as well as Mrs. Engel out in the audience, who really work to make connections with students before those offenses get to the point. So if we hear of students having a conflict, they're meeting with those students before there can be a fight or anything like that on our campus.
That's really good news.
It's much more.
Could you enlighten me on what the big five are? Or what does that mean? I know it's a sporting goods store as far as I know.
It's confusing because
really
even though there's five, it's almost like there's four, because two of them are fighting.
So meaning just two different levels of fight or just fighting?
Yes, and good luck trying to figure out the two.
Okay. Like fight 1A and 1B?
Yes.
Okay.
Whether it's
I don't need to spend all that, I just need to understand it, cause
A1 and A2, and they're confusing.
Alright.
So there, two of them are fighting. One is weapons, drugs or alcohol, and then selling drugs or alcohol.
So those big five, if somebody
Yes.
does those, you don't look at those kindly, you follow whatever the next.
Those are putting someone in danger, and those are gonna send kids home.
Okay, and so we have a local policy and an education code that we follow, is that how that
Well,
works?
the big, only suspending for the big five has probably been 10 years that we've only been suspending for the big five.
Okay, so give me an example of what a minor infraction would be as compared to a big five.
So in the past, if somebody had like too many cuts, and maybe they got a regular detention and that didn't work, and then they got a Saturday detention and that didn't work, and they kept cutting and missing school, sometimes, silly as it would sound, people would be suspended because they weren't coming to school.
Okay, I mean, I understand that, it's a corrected behavior
And
to
yes,
stop
it's
something.
correct. And so it's been about 10 years, because I'm pretty sure Mr. Osborne was in the right seat to tell us to stop doing that when it happened. And it's been about 10 years that you could only suspend for the top 5 things on the ed code.
Okay, so so if you do that, it won't be supported at.
Correct.
Whenever the next step of that is.
Correct. Yeah, if we suspended somebody for throwing a piece of trash, that's not gonna be upheld.
Okay.
That's a bad job on
Is
our
that
part.
is that another example of a minor infraction, littering?
That would be a minor infraction.
Okay. That makes me feel a little better, but it's still confusing to me, from a standpoint of the application of suspension rates and the trying to improve suspension rates. Like, how do you, if you're not going to, like, there's a in law enforcement, there's a theory called the broken window theory. You probably heard it before, and you have to enforce the little things, because if you don't work on the little things, then the big things turn bigger. And if you know what I mean, it's like a preventative. There's this behavior that happens to curb the big things,
And
that is working with the little things.
And I think what you will find on our campus that's really helped with the staffing that we currently have is our ability to get there at the little things, to build those relationships, to work with students so they understand how the little thing can turn into a big thing. And so we get in there early enough because of our staffing, because of the people standing here, that we're able to prevent them from becoming bigger things. If that makes sense. So a student who's kind of
The words
constantly
make sense to me. How it truncates into an improvement in suspension rate of the big five is what I'm concerned about. If there's a decision, you know what I'm saying? If here's the big five, and I get it, and there's behaviors that lead to the big five, it may be incorporated in the little 10 or whatever the other things are. I'm always interested in that behavior before it gets to the big five. Like, there's a lot of steps before fight 1A and 1B, or before drugs, or before whatever those other things were, that to me mean a lot. And so that's what I would think would help curb for the next time we get I guess what I would like to say in closing about that, because everything else, I mean, everything looked great to me except for that. And I just would like to know what's in place to try to improve that, from an increase to a decrease. Is that?
So the increase happened in the previous year.
Right.
That was so
got
already
it.
this year. So we hit 78 at the end of 2023, and we're only at 23 right now. So we've already seen that decrease happen this year. Again, with the connections, with the ability of our staff to get to know students and to really work with those students that we know, finding other means of correction before it gets to those big offenses. And our option is to suspend.
Did I miss that part of it? Did you say that in the presentation? I don't remember.
Okay.
Then
That's okay.
Perfect.
Well, I think one of the things too, Gary, and I think, and maybe you can talk about it just for a second. It's a connectedness in the classroom, right? It has to do with the connectedness in the classroom, but it's also the connectedness with the administrators on the campus. So kids are put on contract. When you find out things that are happening at the lowest level, those kids are being called in and they're being counseled by the administration about where to go, how to navigate the campus without getting in that fight. So those things are happening on a daily basis or a couple of times a week, however and then parental contact is also made. So I don't know if you want to talk about that, but those are the kinds of things that happen. Yeah, that's what happens at that level, at the level that's where the intervention kind of takes place. So, and I think the kids at Glendora High School are doing they probably do a pretty good job of saying, hey, I want to stay out of this, so I need to go see somebody. And so.
And having that pride in our campus too. They don't want to be that campus where they have to come and worry about those big things happening. So they'll come tell administrators, counselors, teachers, hey, I think this isn't what I want our campus to be, and then we can intervene.
No, that's very affirming, and I'll just probably follow up with the super. I just want to know more about that, or I've always wanted to meet with Mrs. Woolridge and talk to her about that. Somebody recommended that for me a couple months ago, and I just haven't done it. But I'd like to just know more about that part of the behavior. So what you're saying, and what I missed apparently, was that it's improved already. And so whatever you're doing is making a marked improvement on that number. So the next time we see it, it'll be a decrease instead of an increase, most probably, if that pattern.
Absolutely.
Perfect. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
I have one last question that I forgot to ask about your first day of school next academic year. Is it going to be the same way, and is it still going to be get on board, or are you changing the?
Yeah, so we've had lots of discussions. Mrs. Clune and I were up at CATA and spent lots of hours talking about that and then getting feedback from our staff. So there was a lot of initial debriefing, little things that we want to tweak, a lot to do with the weather and making sure. We have enough water and areas for people to stay cool, knowing that the likelihood, well, I don't know, in our case, it could be raining that day, but the likelihood it'll be a warm day. So we've made some minor tweaks, but we are gonna keep that event known as the Get On Board event. But every year we're gonna tweak the theme a little bit that connects it to our Welcome Back event. So we have an assembly and a dance that has different themes every year. So we'll use the Get On Board with whatever that theme is to kind of kick off our school year. On a high school campus, not everyone loves a long-lasting theme, so I think we're gonna keep that connected to that event.
Looking forward to hearing what next year's theme will be.
Yes.
All right, any further questions from superintendent, staff? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And thank you for hanging in there, everyone. That'll bring us to the discussion action item. The first discussion action item is 6.1, a recommendation to the Board of Education to adopt Resolution 23-24-18, ordering biennial governing board member elections. Dr. DeGrazia?
I move that we approve this.
Okay, are we gonna have no discussion, just a motion?
Well, you have to motion, and I'll second it. I'll second it.
Okay.
Yeah,
We have a
there-
motion and we have a second.
Yep, with, no formal presentation on this one, just the facts that this comes forward every few years when we are up for an election of any of our seats. The election on November 5th, 2024 in Glendora Unified School District will take place for 2 seats, Trustee Area 4 and Trustee Area 5. This allows us to be properly recorded with the LA Voter Registrar and Registrar's Office, as well as the LA County Office of Education, and appropriately file all paperwork with them. We're required to take such action by the board adopting said resolution 2324-18 here this evening. And that is all.
All right, I appreciate that. Is there any board discussion regarding this? None? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition?
Aye.
All right, thank you. The motion passes. Appreciate that. All right, then we're gonna move right on down to the consent item. And if you remember earlier, item 9.3 was pulled from the agenda. It's gonna come back to us later. So do I have a motion to approve items 8.1 through 11.3 minus 9.3?
I motion to approve items 8.1 through 11.3 minus 9.3.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? All right, that is a unanimous vote for all of that stuff. And that takes us down to item 12.1. It's 8:56. I officially adjourn this meeting. Have a great evening. Thank you for hanging in there.